Hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is a time machine episode. It is May 15th, 2024, and it's season 3 episode. That's not right. 136. There we go. I am Mayor Watt, and this is the ohmTown Daily News Show. Hello again, and welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about Indian spices, global safety concerns, Tesla farm outside dying mall, a pill could solve the problem, Brittle star cloning itself, game deletes your saves, magnetically attracted barge meets Texas bridge, a Zoom meeting with your dog, red ink lobster sells equipment, and connected cars and illegal data collection, and finally, birds go backpacking. I am going to throw all of these links into the VOD real quick, so they will be sitting there should you decide to watch the past episode, which is the current episode if I'm in my time machine, which is the future episode, and never mind. So it's just going to take me a second real quick, and I'll throw these in here. If you want to fast forward a couple of seconds, probably about 30 seconds, 20 seconds. I used to put these into, I will be putting them back into the bot so that they automatically appear when you hit exclamation point show notes in the future. But I have a bug that I need to work out associated with an artificial intelligence. Not the one that is my co-host, though. It's not sentient. The sentient co-host, the sentient AI from the future, is not available right now. Off on assignment. So let's get into the first article now. First article's over in Hatch Ideas. Indian spices face heat over global safety concerns. It says India is a global powerhouse of spices, but recent quality concerns have cast a cloud on its position. The article's over at bbc.com. And it says here, for Indian spices are like paints in a paint box, says Indian actor turned food writer Madhur Jaffrey. Quote, we get different shades from the same spice by doing something to the spice. In other words, you can roast the spice or grind them into powders. The diversity of their flavors is mind-boggling. Some of the best food that I've had is Indian food. Although I don't eat that much anymore. I do one meal a day called OMAD. And I actually do supplements and stuff like that. Anyway, sidetrack. It says, unsurprisingly, India has emerged as a global spice powerhouse. Exports 200 spices, value-added products to come to 180 countries worth $4 billion or 3.1 billion pounds, according to Spices Board of India. But now concerns are emerging regarding the safety of these renowned spices. Last month, Singapore and Hong Kong halted sales of some spices produced by Indian companies MDH and Everest over suspected elevated levels of ethylene oxide, a cancer-causing pesticide. And that's not all. The FDA here in the States, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, is also investigating products from the two popular brands. We have the same problem with shrimp here in the United States, but a lot of the food safety concerns comes from the fact that we're not very rigorous about our testing, apparently. There are reports from various people reporting on it, and I have to hunt down sources at this point. But somewhere about 1% or so is tested. It's because it's expensive and time consuming. And so we basically, things like shrimp, not all shrimp are as clean as they are touted to be. So we don't know about it until it's too late. Analysis done by the news agency of the U.S. regulatory data found that since 2021, an average of 14.5% of U.S. shipments of MDH spices were rejected due to presence of bacteria. Both brands insist their products are safe. Well, something must be happening between there and here, right? So, not sure what all is going on. It says clearly it's a disturbing development. For one, both the brands are popular and trusted ones. Delhi-based MDH is iconic 105-year-old family-run firm. More than 60 blended and ground spices. 57-year-old Everest Food Products, launched by a spice trader, claims to be India's largest manufacturer of pure and blended spices, exporting to over 80 countries. So, I don't know. I just want the testing to be done because you can't test at home. It's not even an option. You cannot do rigorous testing at home. Otherwise, I would say trust but verify. But it's just simply not possible. So I hope that everybody stays happy and healthy out there. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Why are hundreds of Teslas parked outside a dying shopping mall? A local news station solved the problem. According to the article... Oh, did I say who the author? So the author for that BBC article, by the way, is Satik Biswas, the India correspondent for BBC. This next article, though, is over at Business Insider, and it's by Anna Olchek. And apparently there are hundreds of Teslas parked outside of a mall, including dozens of Cybertrucks outside a mall in Missouri. The mall is closing in October, and Tesla needed space to hold excess vehicles. And another takeaway here is Tesla had a decline in EV sales last quarter, which hit 90,000, lower than expected. So it's the Chesterfield Mall, closing in October, shutting down entirely in October. A couple of weeks ago, local news station KTVI solved the mystery. It's storing unsold vehicles at the mall until it shuts down. Interesting. So, Cybertrucks, Model Ys, Model 3s. I actually got a text from Tesla saying, hey, we'll give you a deal. No, I'm not interested in a Tesla. I think all of the plug-in technology is wrong-headed right now. Requiring way too much infrastructure to be built out across a massive location instead of spinning up fast swap batteries, battery centers, and changing the foundation. We need to not rely on owning the battery, but distributing that burden across everybody who uses the batteries. And then it becomes part of the operating costs, just like we do now with fuel. Everybody requires gasoline, except for those who are switching to pure battery EVs. But we need to get away from that, because you're going to end up with a several $1,000 burden in roughly 5 years, because your battery is losing charge upwards of 2% every year. So anyway, without getting too far into the reeds, I think it's wrong-headed. Ford's Michigan assembly plant in Wayne stores vehicles before transporting them to dealers or other facilities. General Motors has also centralized distribution facility in Grand Blanc, Michigan, where it replenishes inventory. Excess vehicles are often stored at factory lots close to the manufacturing facilities. Maybe there's just too many. So EV makers are struggling with oversupply, and I think it's because everybody would rather have a hybrid because of range anxiety, poor battery life, poor range in general. Not just range anxiety, but poor range in general. Hybrids don't suffer from that, but they're gutless. That's the problem until you spend 80,000 plus. So the price has to come down and all kinds of other stuff. So Tesla reported its first year-over-year decline in quarterly deliveries last quarter. And I think that's largely because I think the honeymoon period of Tesla EVs is over. 20% lower from the fourth quarter of 2023 and 8.4% down from a year ago. It's the lowest quarterly performance since 2022. Meanwhile, Musk is trying to get investors to reinstate his $50 plus billion payment. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. A pill could solve the Zepbound and Wegovy shortage. Eli Lilly executive says it may take a weight loss pill for Eli Lilly to finally meet demand for its popular anti-obesity medications. It does more than just weight loss, by the way. That's just a major impactor because of its other impacts. It's actually supposed to be for diabetes, not pure weight loss. So if you're on the cusp of it, supposedly this will pull you away from diabetes. And much to many people's chagrin, it isn't just a diabetes isn't caused just by you eating too much candy. So according to Eli Lilly, a pill will solve the problem, or should solve the problem. By the way, man, the article from Business Insider was by Anna Olchek. I thought I said it, but now I'm suspecting I did not. The next article is over at quartz.com or qz.com, and it's the a pill could solve the Zepbound and Wegovy shortage, Eli Lilly executive says. So if you're not familiar with it, Zepbound and Wegovy and other tirzepatide and other of these quote-unquote weight loss medications are injections. You can put them in various parts of your body. And they're very expensive to manufacture, and you have to refrigerate them, and you have to take precautions with how you handle them. They can't stay outside too long, etc. I mean, there's a lot of babysitting, and that's why they're expensive, and that's why there's only so many being made, on top of the fact that the manufacturing process is heavy-handed. You know, you have a little glass vial inside this thing, and there's a needle and a spring-loaded injector, and then there's an outside container. It's just too busy. They really need a pill. So the pharma giant said it's doing all it can to ramp up production. Everything Mounjaro and Zepbound, and they mentioned Wegovy as well. They're all pretty much the same, but in terms of outcomes, not necessarily the chemistry involved, but it is the same class. So skyrocketing sales. Morgan Stanley anticipates the global market for weight loss drugs will reach $105 billion by 2030. Yeah, and people who have taken these drugs keep the weight off. Actually, it increases the amount of weight that's been reduced over time. So 4 years later, they still have kept the weight off 10%, 10.5% of total body mass, based on the research that was done. A long-term assessment of those being monitored. So they're ramping up more manufacturing facilities, but it's going to take time, probably June-ish before. But that's kind of like adding new roads to the freeway. There's such high demand that now there's going to be more people on the road. So I see that I don't know. It's going to take a while. So retatrutide is currently in phase 3 trials and being tested for the treatment of obesity, cheapers creepers, obesity, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis. And that treatment of obesity and the sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, I haven't heard in the others, but those two are almost hand in hand with It also ends up lowering blood sugar because you don't crave candy anymore. You don't actually crave food anymore. And it makes the hunger pangs go away. It's quite fascinating. And so Eli Lilly has 9 obesity and diabetes drugs in development, which could add even more health benefits to the medications, and that's retatrutide. Because of the amount of weight loss you have seen, there was even beyond tirzepatide, which is the active ingredient in Zepbound. So maybe retatrutide is going to be the next biggest thing, but hopefully it's because it's a pill. Nobody wants to inject themselves. Well, some people do. Anyway, the article was by Bruce Gill over at quartzqz.com. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Marble Channel. Stunning 150 million year old fossil shows a brittle star cloning itself. So it's quite neat. I'm just going to show you the picture of it. The article is over at gizmodo.com by Isaac Schultz. And they say, to the untrained eye, the ancient brittle star fossil above looks like what you'd expect of a now especially brittle echinoderm. But the fossil is quite rare. It captures the moment at which the brittle star is cloning itself, regenerating 3 of its arms as it died. And I'm trying to see. Regenerating, like right here? Let's see, the specimen... pardon me. The specimen was a chance find during a 2018 dig. If you look closely, you'll see 3 arms on the fossil's right side are thinner and slightly shorter than those on the left side. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So like right there, you can actually see the little split. This one's harder to see, maybe way over here. Somewhere down here, maybe. Seems like it might be way up here, but you can really see the split right there and right there. This one may not have split as far back. This one may have split here and then here. I can't really tell on that one, but yeah, that's pretty neat. So let's just keep going though. We'll make today's time machine a little bit faster. The next article is over in the Warcrafters channel. New Switch game deletes your saves on purpose. Overmorrow is I would probably say it's a what Rogue Extreme kind of a game. Overmorrow erases progress after 30 days, adding a unique challenge to the indie adventure game experience. Players must collect runes to unlock secrets and explore the mysterious island before time resets every month. The developer Marcus Clark's title debut on May 17th for the Nintendo Switch with a discount for pre-purchase is highlighted in this article. It's over at GameRant.com. Zachary Samaglio is the author of the article. And I haven't seen this yet. It's over on the Switch, and I only play on PC, really, and iPad and iPhone. But yeah, I've never... I don't play on the Switch. Anyway, pretty neat. It looks, let me see. I'll play the trailer and mute it. Or maybe not. All right. I guess it doesn't want me to play. Oh, there it goes. That took a while. Let me just jump ahead. Everything appears to be made up of triangles. You know, and composites of triangles. And as the days go by, eventually it's going to reset your game. Just delete it. Interesting. This is like an extreme Souls-like game, because when you die there, you have to go back and find your body and get your stuff. But here, after 28 days, you're done. You have to start over entirely. So it's a fairly low budget indie title. Overmorrow comes from just one solo developer by the name of Marcus Clark, who published the title under the name Pixel Manta. Clark funded the game through a Kickstarter campaign, which exceeded its goals mere weeks after it first launched. So you can get it for $15, I guess, on Nintendo Switch. I don't know if the discount is still why did they call it? Oh, that's interesting. Overmorrow debuts May 17th for the Nintendo Switch, but eager fans can always check out the Steam version, which is available for $15.99. However, fans who pre-purchase the Switch port can enjoy a 20% discount from the original price. So, but they don't have the price of the Switch version on here. But there is there's a Steam version of it. I'll have to check that out. Okay, cool. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in the mobile channel. Barge causes oil spill when it hits a bridge in Galveston, Texas. I'm just going to jump on over to the source here. Lawrence Sforza is the author. The article's over at thehill.com. And can't really get too into it because this article is actually, we're in the time machine, so it's a couple of days old. The Pelican Island Bridge has been closed to all traffic since 10 a.m. local time, according to the city of Galveston's website. The city reported that there were no injuries from the incident. The city said that the collision resulted in an oil spill in Galveston Bay, which the U.S. Coast Guard is responding to, and the city added that the Coast Guard will determine the extent of the spill as well as initiate the containment and cleanup processes. Interesting. Engineers from the Department of Transportation will be inspecting the roadway to determine whether there is damage, it added. Texas A&M University at Galveston said in an online statement that the bridge is closed to all traffic at this time due to a barge strike. So, yeah, it seems like bridges are now polarized, and anything boating past them should be careful because you might get magnetically pulled into the bridge. So be careful out there. Yeah, let's just keep going. This next article is over in the mobile channel. An online meeting with your dog study tests dog's ability to imitate actions observed on video projections. I'm just going to jump over to the source. At Vos-Lorand University, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, but I gave it the whole Harvard try. It has a snapshot basically of a person seemingly waving their hands, a new study, and a dog. So a dog's watching a video. The study discovered that dogs' cognitive abilities to process and replicate actions observed in 2D video projections align with their everyday observational experiences with humans. The researchers are from the Department of Ethology at Eötvös-Loránd University in Budapest, Hungary. Using the do as I do training method, the researchers trained two dogs, Tara and a male golden retriever. Two dogs, Tara, a male golden retriever, and Frank, a female Labrador retriever, to imitate human actions, first from live demonstrations and then displayed on a screen. The setup involved life-size video projections streamed via online conference software, enabling real-time interactions between the dogs and their owners, who were located remotely. For example, the owner would spin in a circle in front of the camera of its device and verbally cue the dog to do it. The dog, having observed the action on the screen, was then expected to replicate it. So using the do as I do imitation paradigm is similar to asking the dogs, "What did I just do?" while showing them on the screen various human actions. The study, even if exploratory, not only advances our understanding of how dogs perceive and interpret human actions, but more importantly, these innovative methods could broaden research into cognitive abilities. And hell, it might be able to facilitate training. So, for example, for instance, one of the dog's demonstrated actions included knocking down a plastic bottle, which was demonstrated from an overhead view. The dog, Tara, observed the demonstration on the screen, looked for the bottle in his room, and then in front of the screen, and then knocked it down. But he struggled to replicate other actions with an overhead view. And it might be this spatial awareness thing. They're always looking straight at, not top down. So interesting. I guess they have the ability to imitate, or I should say, do the actions that they're told to do. But, you can tell well, I wonder, telling the dog to do something, they may just remember that. What if they just say it over a microphone, not have a video projection? Like at one point I had a dog that was taught hand commands and would sit and lay down, roll over, and heel and all of that kind of stuff without me even saying anything. I could just do hand commands. I wonder if without speaking, would the dog follow the hand commands, or by speaking and no video, would they, get down from the couch or sit or lay down, or whatever, or find the person, because that was possible too. I would be able to say, find this person, and they would go and find the person, as long as they knew who they were, of course. So it's a neat experiment. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in the Hatch Ideas channel. Red Lobster suddenly shutters dozens of locations without warning employees and begins auctioning off equipment. It's estimated that nearly 99 locations, well, I guess Red Lobster has 99 problems, and locations are all of them. They've closed 99 locations across 27 states, and restaurant paraphernalia is apparently up for auction online, including tanks with live lobsters, furniture, ovens, refrigerators, bars, and more. The article is by Emily Rella over at entrepreneur.com. And do you want to own a piece of a Red Lobster? The beloved seafood chain is shuttering locations across the country and auctioning off equipment. I wonder if they've been acquired by somebody, and like all mergers and acquisitions, they've sucked the life and profitability out of it. When I'm done with the show this weekend, I think I'm going to do a little digging. I didn't get a chance to. Some employees have reportedly been blindsided by the closings. Yeah, why would they tell you? Because the sociopaths have made their money, and they don't want to. For the longest time, I thought that there were required lunch breaks and breaks, but it's not required. It's fascinating. There's no required lunch break except for in the retail environment. Retail employees have required work breaks, or lunch breaks. But like salaried and non-retail, they have no required lunch breaks or breaks. It's absurd. Anyway, liquidator Tagex Brands confirmed the restaurant paraphernalia, including tanks and live lobsters, furniture, ovens, refrigerators, bars, and more, for nearly 50 across 21 states, are up for auction. I guess at the tagexbrands.com website. I don't know if it's still going, if you're listening to this live. Interested customers can bid through the liquidator up until designated times on Thursday. So that's done, I guess. According to ABC News, the chain has shuttered at least 99 stores across 27 states. Let's keep going. The next article is over on 4Wheel Tech. Connected cars illegal data collection and use now on FTC's radar. The regulator is warning OEMs to respect data privacy or it will get mad. Ooh, don't get mad. Jonathan M. Gitlin over at arstechnica.com put the article together. Yeah, so we've been talking about this here in ohmTown for a little while, and basically information is being given to data brokers at a profit. Your information, your personally identifiable information, where you track, by tracking you, they know exactly where you go on your smart car that's connected. Like mine, for instance, tells a company where I am. because it has remote access. So, like, I can do remote start over the internet. Later in 2023, the Mozilla Foundation published an extensive report examining the various automakers' policies regarding the use of data from connected cars, and the report concluded that cars are the worst product category we have ever reviewed for privacy. General Motors, it says, had been unwittingly enrolled in an owner of a General Motors vehicle had been unwittingly enrolled in OnStar Smart Driver program that was basically sharing information with insurance companies, resulting in soaring insurance premiums. A lot of the insurance side of things is hard braking and acceleration and turns, and if you drive like a nut job, then you're going to end up with higher insurance premiums because your information is being passed on instead of you actually having a modicum of privacy. You know, I'm surprised that they don't sit there and tell your health insurance to go up because you spend an inordinate amount of time driving through drive-thrus. How about kiss my ass and stay out of my information? It says unwittingly enrolled. No, it was connecting data. They were collecting it and selling it. Okay, and let's just move on though. The next article is over in the Smack Talk channel as well. And new iPad Pro OLED screens have a HDR color bug. I'm not sure what tomorrow is going to bring us because that is actually Thursday. This is the Wednesday show. But I'm in my time machine. And I don't have this problem. At least I can't see it. And I have the iPad Pro OLED. I updated. And I don't see this problem that's being spoken of, which is basically a color distortion, which shows up. They give this example, and I do not see it on my iPad. Apple lifted the news embargo, so initial reviews of the 13-inch iPad Pro and 11-inch iPad Pro could be published. However, some bad news has arrived. I don't see this. According to iMore, which discovered an issue with HDR content, that there's some blowout of the color, which basically this is like a interpolation type of problem where it's miscategorizing what that color is, and it seemingly is like sitting up above the rest of it and is distorted, and it's in other places too, in this segment of the video, but again, I just don't see it. They say the fix will likely arrive in 17.5.1 update or similar. But let's see it live. I might as well do this live. So yeah, I'm using 17.5, not 17.5.1. And again, I don't see it. So I don't know what's going on here, but we'll find out. Maybe on Thursday, there's an update in the news that I haven't seen yet, but I haven't seen anything. But let's go on the very last article for, the May 15th episode, and right after this one I'm going to reset and we're going to do another time machine for May 16th, and then I'll end up taking a break until 8 p.m. and reset for the Friday ohmTown Daily News Show. Researchers solve a 200-year-old mystery by putting mini backpacks on birds. Researchers now discovered where a giant hummingbird goes after breeding, solving a 200-year mystery. And they did it by putting little backpack trackers on them. Anna Commander, which is an awesome name, put this article together. The recently published 8-year study was conducted with the help of team leader Dr. Jesse Williamson along the Pacific coast of Chile. The study uncovered that the migratory giant hummingbirds, which are 8 times the size of a black-chinned hummingbird, which doesn't really mean much unless you actually know what the size of a black-chinned hummingbird is, ascend to over 13,000 feet in elevation to the high Andes, flying as far north as the mountains of Peru, according to a release. And if you take a little look here, you see a southern giant hummingbird with a geolocator backpack. And it's just this little chip that's transmitting. So that's pretty cool. Christopher Witt, UNM professor and director of the Museum of Western Biology, said nobody had figured out where the migratory giant hummingbirds had gone because they were hiding among the non-migratory giant hummingbirds. Okay, so that's it, folks. You can go and check out more about this article. It mentions genomes and so on. But that is it. So we always get back into the party bus and race down ohmTown's Main Street. I'd refresh the page, but we're in the time machine and now I've got to get out of here. So I'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Oh, is this thing still on?